Welcome back to our channel. Today we unravel the glamorous yet complex life of Anne Baxter, one of Hollywood's most captivating stars. Known as Hollywood's SX Kitten, Anne Baxter defied stereotypes with her talent, wit, and resilience. From her early days, in a privileged yet tragedy-marked childhood, to her rise as an Oscar-winning actress, Anne's journey was nothing short of extraordinary. Whether it was her groundbreaking performances, dramatic personal life, or her ability to reinvent herself, she remained a symbol of class and strength. Join us as we delve into the untold mysteries of Anne Baxter's life, from her iconic career and controversial relationships to her triumphs and heartbreaks that made her an unforgettable figure in Hollywood history. Childhood Anne Baxter's story begins on May 7, 1923, in Michigan City, Indiana, where she was born into a family of privilege and promise. Her mother, Catherine Wright Baxter, was no ordinary woman. She was the daughter of one of America's most celebrated architects, Frank Lloyd Wright. This connection to such a towering figure in American design meant that creativity and artistry were woven into Anne's DNA from the very beginning. Growing up in this distinguished family, Anne was surrounded by an atmosphere that encouraged her to explore her passions and cultivate her talents, a rare luxury during that era. However, despite the wealth and cultural influence surrounding her, Anne's early life was tinged with heartbreak. She experienced the devastating loss of her older brother James, who tragically passed away in infancy. Later, her younger brother Toby succumbed to pneumonia just shy of his 3rd birthday. These losses shaped Anne profoundly, leaving her as the only child of Kenneth and Catherine Baxter. It's not hard to imagine how such tragedies might have fostered in her a deep understanding of emotional nuance, something that would later shine through in her acting. Anne's passion for acting began in a unique way, thanks to her grandfather, Frank Lloyd Wright. Her grandfather, the legendary Frank Lloyd Wright, played a pivotal role in her budding interest in performance. Wright, known for his architectural masterpieces, designed and built a miniature theater specifically for Anne. Imagine that, a personal stage crafted by one of the most celebrated architects in history, tailored for a little girl with big dreams. This wasn't a simple playroom. It was a testament to Wright's belief in his granddaughter's potential and his desire to nurture her creative spirit. By the age of 11, Anne's destiny was already taking shape. Her early exposure to acting had ignited a passion that was impossible to extinguish. While most children her age were still figuring out their interests, Anne had already set her sights on the stage. This determination led her to a remarkable milestone at just 13 years old, her Broadway debut. Performing on such a prestigious platform at such a young age was no small feat, and highlighted her extraordinary talent and maturity. It was a clear sign that Anne Baxter wasn't just another privileged child dabbling in the arts. She was a star in the making, fueled by ambition, resilience, and a supportive family legacy. Anne's early years tell the story of a young girl who turned personal loss and privilege into a foundation for her creative ambitions and a remarkable legacy. Her journey from a miniature theater in Indiana to the dazzling lights of Broadway by age 13 is not just inspiring, it's extraordinary. It set the stage for a life and career that would captivate audiences and leave an indelible mark on Hollywood history. Anne's family life was profoundly shaped by the towering influence of her grandfather, Frank Lloyd Wright, a legendary architect whose creativity and determination inspired generations, including Anne. Wright wasn't just a revered figure in architectural history, he was a guiding light in Anne's personal journey. His unwavering encouragement, paired with his belief in her potential, provided Anne with both the confidence and motivation to pursue her ambitions, no matter how challenging the path ahead might seem. For Anne, Wright was more than a relative. He was a mentor who helped her see the possibilities of blending artistry with purpose. At the core of Anne's upbringing were her parents, Kenneth and Catherine Baxter, who provided a foundation of love and resilience despite the frequent upheavals in their family life. Kenneth's career required the family to move often, introducing Anne to a variety of environments and communities. While such transitions might unsettle some, for Anne, these experiences fostered adaptability and a broad perspective on the world. Each new location offered fresh insights and opportunities, which later influenced her outlook on both life and work. However, Anne's life wasn't without its challenges. Personal losses left deep marks on her, forcing her to grapple with grief and resilience from an early age. These experiences not only shaped her emotional depth, but also strengthened her resolve to turn adversity into growth. The emotional connection she shared with her grandfather became a pillar of support during these trying times, reminding her of the strength and creativity she carried within. Frank Lloyd Wright's influence went beyond familial ties. He instilled in Anne a sense of purpose and a belief that the power of imagination could create meaningful change. Whether through his architectural philosophies or the personal wisdom he imparted, Wright's mentorship became a cornerstone of Anne's character. His emphasis on innovation, individuality, and pushing boundaries resonated deeply with her, fueling her own aspirations to make a mark in her chosen field. Anne's connection with her grandfather and the life lessons she learned from her parents provided her with a unique blend of inspiration, adaptability, and determination. These experiences laid the foundation for her ambitions, reminding us all that the people who influence us most deeply often leave legacies far beyond their own time. Career: Anne Baxter's journey to stardom was nothing short of inspiring, filled with grit, talent, and the kind of determination that only true icons possess. Her Broadway debut at the astonishing age of 13 was a clear signal that Anne wasn't just any aspiring actress. She was a star in the making. Performing on one of the world's most prestigious stages at such a young age wasn't just a milestone, it was the foundation for a legacy that would span decades. Critics were quick to praise her poise and maturity, and audiences couldn't help but take notice of the young girl with a remarkable talent far beyond her years. Her transition to Hollywood, however, was far from easy. Like many rising stars, Anne faced rejection early on, including a failed screen test with the powerhouse producer David Selznick. Yet instead of letting this setback define her, Anne used it as motivation. Fans often cite this moment as a defining one in her career, a time when she showed the resilience and determination that would become hallmarks of her professional life. As one fan later remarked in an interview, Anne wasn't just chasing fame, she was chasing excellence. When Anne signed with 20th Century Fox in 1940, the industry began to take notice. Her early roles in films like Swamp Water and The Magnificent Ambersons may not have been blockbuster hits, but they revealed an actress with a unique ability to bring emotional depth to her characters. Critics began to highlight her as one to watch, with media outlets praising her raw authenticity and captivating screen presence. Hollywood gossip columns of the time noted how directors often described her as fearless, willing to take on complex and challenging roles without hesitation. Then came 1946, the year that cemented Anne Baxter's status as one of Hollywood's brightest stars. Her role as Sophie MacDonald in The Razor's Edge wasn't just a performance, it was a revelation. Audiences were moved to tears by Anne's portrayal of a grief-stricken woman spiraling into despair. Letters from fans flooded studio offices, with viewers expressing how Anne's performance resonated deeply with their own struggles. Critics called her work hauntingly beautiful, and when she was awarded the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, it felt like a victory not just for Anne, but for every fan who had championed her talent from the beginning. One columnist famously wrote, "Anne Baxter didn't just win an Oscar that night, she won the hearts of a nation." Anne's career reached a new pinnacle in 1950 with her role in All About Eve. As the cunning and ambitious Eve Harrington, Anne delivered a performance that was both chilling and mesmerizing. Her ability to embody a character so complex, a sweet and innocent facade masking ruthless ambition, earned her yet another Oscar nomination. Critics were quick to hail her work as a masterclass in subtlety and nuance, while audiences were captivated by her ability to hold her own opposite the formidable Bette Davis. Fan clubs dedicated to Anne began springing up across the country, with members swapping stories about how her performance inspired them to chase their own dreams, no matter the odds. In 1956, Anne dazzled audiences again with her role as Nefertari in The Ten Commandments, a film as grand and ambitious as the actress herself. Playing the elegant yet fierce Egyptian queen, Anne brought both vulnerability and strength to the role, making Nefertari one of the most unforgettable characters in cinematic history. The media buzz around her performance was electric, with fashion magazines even drawing inspiration from Annie's lavish costumes and regal demeanor. Fans flooded theaters, many returning multiple times just to see Anne command the screen. A popular entertainment columnist at the time gushed, "Anne Baxter didn't just play Nefertari, she was Nefertari." Despite these successes, Anne's career wasn't without its hurdles. Being typecast as the girl next door early on, or overshadowed by bigger studio names, were challenges she faced with grace and professionalism. Yet, her fans remained fiercely loyal, often taking to magazine columns and fan letters to express their frustration with the industry's inability to fully recognize her range. One fan's heartfelt letter to a Hollywood magazine read, "Anne Baxter is a treasure. Hollywood needs to stop underestimating her and give her the roles she deserves." Scandals. Anne's career wasn't just about the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. It was also marked by controversy that fascinated both fans and the media alike. One of the most talked about chapters in her life was her affair with Filippo Attilano, a mobster whose shadowy connections to organized crime added a layer of danger and intrigue to Anne's otherwise polished public image. This relationship, which took place in the 1950s, shocked many, especially given Anne's conservative political views that seemed to stand in direct contrast to her choice of companion. The media seized on this contradiction, with headlines painting her as a woman caught between two worlds, the respectable starlet and the daring risk-taker. For fans, the affair with Attilano sparked mixed reactions. Some were disappointed, feeling the relationship clashed with the ideals Anne often represented on screen. Others, however, were captivated by the romance, intrigued by her willingness to defy societal expectations. One fan wrote to a popular Hollywood magazine at the time saying, "Anne's choices might surprise us, but that's what makes her human. She's not just a star, she's a woman with passions and flaws, just like the rest of us." This sentiment was echoed by others who admired her boldness, even as the press dissected her every move. Adding to the intrigue were rumors of Anne's romantic relationships with several co-stars, including Joseph Cotten, a renowned actor known for his performances in Citizen Kane and Shadow of a Doubt. While many of these whispers were unfounded, they provided endless fodder for gossip columns, which thrived on the blurred lines between Anne's on-screen chemistry and her off-screen life. The public couldn't get enough of the speculation, with fan clubs and radio shows discussing whether Anne's rumored love life was fact or fabrication. One gossip columnist cheekily wrote, "Anne Baxter, Hollywood's leading lady on screen and perhaps in the hearts of her co-stars." Another headline-grabbing moment in Anne's personal life was her brief engagement to actor John Shelton. Though the relationship didn't last, it became a focal point for the media, with newspapers eagerly following the couple's every step. Fans expressed both excitement and heartbreak when the engagement was called off, with some speculating on the reasons behind the split. For Anne, this chapter highlighted the difficulty of maintaining privacy while living under the constant gaze of the public. Despite the scrutiny, her fans remained loyal, with many expressing their hope that she would find happiness on her own terms. The controversy surrounding Anne's romantic life didn't diminish her professional accomplishments, but instead added a layer of complexity to her image. She was no longer just a Hollywood starlet. She was a woman navigating fame, love, and public judgment in an era when societal expectations were particularly rigid for women. The press may have tried to define her by her relationships, but Anne's fans often came to her defense. One particularly moving letter from a fan stated, "Anne's personal life doesn't define her legacy. Her talent, her grace, and her strength are what we'll remember." Anne's ability to rise above the rumors and maintain her focus on her craft earned her respect in an industry that often thrived on scandal. Colleagues praised her professionalism and dedication, noting that no matter what the tabloids said, Anne always delivered remarkable performances. This resilience only deepened her connection with her audience, who admired her ability to remain poised in the face of public scrutiny. Marriage and relationships. Anne Baxter's personal life was a roller coaster of highs and lows marked by love, loss, and resilience. Her first marriage to actor John Hodiak in 1946 was initially seen as a glamorous union. Fans adored the pairing of two rising Hollywood stars, and they were often featured in gossip columns and red carpet spreads as one of Tinseltown's golden couples. However, beneath the polished exterior, the marriage faced its struggles. Anne later revealed that their relationship became strained over time, citing mental cruelty and a lack of emotional connection. Their divorce in 1953 shocked fans, many of whom saw their union as the epitome of Hollywood romance. Letters poured into fan magazines, with one supporter writing, "Anne, you're the epitome of grace. Your strength inspires us to handle our own heartbreaks." Anne's ability to remain poised during such a tumultuous period earned her even more admiration. In interviews, she spoke candidly about the difficulties of balancing a career with personal happiness, a sentiment that resonated deeply with her fans. The press lauded her for her honesty and vulnerability, painting her not just as a glamorous star, but as a relatable figure navigating the same emotional trials as everyone else. Her second marriage to Australian rancher Randolph G. took her far from the glittering world of Hollywood. The transition from movie star to rancher's wife was nothing short of dramatic, and it captured the imagination of fans and media alike. Headlines like "Anne Baxter trades red carpet for red dirt" and "From glamour to grazing, Anne Baxter's new life down under" filled newspapers and magazines. Fans were fascinated by her willingness to leave behind her career and embrace a rural lifestyle. The actress turned rancher described her new life in vivid detail in her memoir, Intermission, where she recounted stories of living miles away from neighbors, managing household chores, and raising her two daughters on a sprawling Australian ranch. While Anne's time in Australia seemed idyllic on the surface, cracks in her second marriage eventually began to show. The dissolution of her marriage to Randolph G. led Anne to return to Hollywood, a move that reignited interest in her career. Fans rallied behind her once more, viewing her return as a powerful act of reclaiming her independence. One admirer wrote to a popular Hollywood magazine, "Anne Baxter proves that you can start over at any point in life. Her courage reminds us all to keep moving forward." In 1977, Anne entered what many hoped would be her happily ever after when she married Wall Street banker David Klee. Their relationship was a breath of fresh air for Anne, offering stability and companionship after years of emotional turbulence. The press painted their union as the perfect match, with Anne embracing a quieter life filled with plans to renovate a Connecticut home and enjoy a more serene pace. Tragically, their happiness was short-lived. Klee passed away just 10 months after their wedding, leaving Anne heartbroken. The loss was a devastating blow, but once again, she demonstrated the resilience that had come to define her. Despite her personal tragedies, Anne's dedication to her family and career remained unwavering. Fans admired her ability to navigate such profound loss with grace. Tributes from admirers poured in after Klee's passing, with one fan commenting, "Anne Baxter's life is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. She's shown us how to face life's hardest moments without losing yourself." Media coverage during this period often highlighted Anne's determination to keep moving forward. Magazine profiles focused on her decision to continue acting and remain active in the entertainment industry, painting her as a role model for perseverance. One headline declared, "Anne Baxter, the star who never stopped shining," celebrating her ability to rise above personal struggles while still captivating audiences on stage and screen. Later career Anne Baxter's ability to evolve with the times and remain a prominent figure in the entertainment world is a story of resilience, versatility, and unparalleled talent. During the 1960s and 1970s, as many of her contemporaries faded from the spotlight, Anne fearlessly transitioned to television and stage work, proving she could shine just as brightly in new arenas of performance. Her adaptability not only extended her career, but cemented her reputation as one of Hollywood's most enduring stars. Her work in television during this period was met with wide acclaim. Shows like Playhouse 90 and The Name of the Game showcased Anne's ability to bring depth and nuance to roles that captivated audiences. Her performance in The Bobby Courier Story earned her an Emmy nomination, a recognition that affirmed her status as a performer capable of thriving in any medium. Fans were quick to praise her move to the small screen. Letters flooded TV magazines, with one admirer writing, "Anne's magic isn't limited to the big screen. She brings the same charisma and brilliance to every role she plays." The media also celebrated her reinvention, with headlines calling her a timeless star for a new era. Critics frequently remarked on her ability to adapt without losing the essence of what made her a Hollywood icon. Her appearances on television brought a new generation of fans into the fold, many of whom marveled at her versatility. As one young viewer put it in a fan interview, "My parents always talked about Anne Baxter from All About Eve, but now she's our star too." Anne's return to Broadway in the musical Applause was another defining moment in her career. Taking on the role of Margot Channing, a character famously portrayed by Bette Davis in All About Eve, was a bold and risky move. Yet Anne stepped into the role with the confidence and poise of a seasoned performer. The musical became a smash hit, with Anne's portrayal of Margot winning over audiences night after night. Theatergoers were struck by her ability to bring both humor and emotional depth to the role, and many walked away from the show praising her performance as unforgettable. One glowing review from the New York Times declared, "Anne Baxter doesn't just play Margot Channing. She commands the stage with the grace of a true star. Fans echoed this sentiment, sharing their excitement in interviews and letters. "I saw applause 3 times just to watch Anne," one theatergoer gushed. "She has this incredible energy that pulls you in and makes you feel like you're part of the story." In the 1980s, Anne once again demonstrated her resilience and professionalism when she replaced Bette Davis in the hit TV series Hotel. The parallels to her earlier career in All About Eve weren't lost on anyone, with the press playfully dubbing her Hollywood's most graceful replacement. Anne handled the transition with elegance, stepping into the role of Victoria Cabot with only 72 hours' notice. Her portrayal brought a fresh energy to the series, earning her rave reviews from both critics and viewers. One fan wrote to a TV magazine, "Anne Baxter's performance in Hotel is proof that true talent never fades. She brought warmth and sophistication to the role that made it even better than before." The media buzz around her role in Hotel was electric. Interviews with Anne revealed her excitement about joining the show, as well as her gratitude for the opportunity to continue doing what she loved. "This role is a challenge, but I've always believed in diving into the deep end," she said during a press junket. Fans admired her willingness to take on new challenges, even later in her career. Her professionalism and dedication didn't just keep her relevant, they made her a role model for resilience in an industry that often casts aside aging stars. Even as Anne aged, she never lost the elegance and charm that had made her a household name. Media outlets often marveled at her ability to balance grace with hard work, with one article calling her the epitome of timeless Hollywood sophistication. Her fans remained devoted, often taking to letters and interviews to express their admiration. One admirer said, "Anne Baxter is proof that age is just a number. She continues to inspire with every performance." Death Anne Baxter's passing on December 12, 1985, marked the end of an extraordinary life. But her legacy lives on, continuing to captivate fans and film enthusiasts alike. Her tragic death, caused by a cerebral hemorrhage while walking in New York City just 8 days prior, shocked Hollywood and her devoted followers worldwide. Anne was only 62 years old, a life cut short, leaving behind a body of work that cemented her as one of the most versatile and talented actresses of her generation. News of Anne's sudden illness spread quickly, and as she fought for her life in the hospital, fans flooded news outlets with messages of support, hoping for a recovery. When the devastating announcement of her death came, tributes poured in from every corner of the world. Fellow actors and directors who had worked alongside her described Anne as a consummate professional, a woman who brought a unique intensity to her roles and an infectious warmth to every set. One co-star remarked, "Anne had this rare ability to connect with people, both on screen and off. She wasn't just a performer, she was an artist." The media reflected on her incredible career, from her Oscar-winning role in The Razor's Edge to her unforgettable turn as the cunning Eve Harrington in All About Eve. Anne's ability to seamlessly transition between complex, layered characters and heartfelt, emotional performances made her a standout star in Hollywood's golden age. Film critics revisited her work with one writing, "Anne Baxter was more than just an actress. She was a storyteller who made every role unforgettable. She could make you love her, hate her, or root for her, all within the span of a single scene." Fans, too, shared their grief and memories. Letters poured into magazines, and tribute columns in newspapers were filled with anecdotes from those who had followed Anne's career for decades. One fan wrote, "Anne Baxter was the kind of actress who made you feel every word, every emotion. Her loss is like losing a dear friend." Another recalled how her performance in the Ten Commandments left an indelible impression, calling her timeless, powerful, and completely irreplaceable. Social media today often echoes these sentiments, with countless posts celebrating her most iconic moments and sharing how her work continues to inspire. A deeply personal and meaningful part of Anne's story was her lifelong connection to her family, particularly her grandfather, the legendary architect Frank Lloyd Wright. True to her wishes, Anne's ashes were scattered near Wright's Taliesin estate in Spring Green, Wisconsin, a serene and symbolic resting place that reflected her creative roots and deep familial bonds. This tribute to her heritage resonated with fans and admirers who saw it as a fitting way to honor a woman who embodied the same spirit of innovation and artistry as her grandfather. The Taliesin estate, a masterpiece of architectural design, became a symbolic reflection of Anne's own legacy. Just as Wright's creations were bold and timeless, Anne's performances left a lasting impact, transcending the eras in which they were made. For many, the scattering of her ashes at Taliesin represented a full-circle moment, a final connection to the family values that shaped her life and career. As one admirer put it, Anne Baxter's life was a bridge between her family's legacy and Hollywood's golden age. She belonged in both worlds. In the weeks and months following her death, retrospectives of Anne's life dominated the media. Documentaries celebrated her groundbreaking career, while television networks aired marathons of her most memorable films. Fans gathered for special screenings of All About Eve and The Razor's Edge, sharing their admiration for a woman who had given so much to the world of cinema. Online forums and tribute pages continue to honor her, with fans posting quotes, stills, and clips from her movies. One popular post reads, "Anne Baxter may be gone, but her brilliance lives on in every frame of film she ever graced." Even decades later, Anne Baxter remains an enduring symbol of Hollywood's golden age. Her life and work continue to inspire new generations of actors, filmmakers, and fans. Social media often lights up with heartfelt tributes, with one fan recently posting, "Every time I watch All About Eve, I'm reminded of how Anne Baxter redefined what it meant to be an actress. She was fierce, vulnerable, and unforgettable." And that brings us to the end of Anne Baxter's remarkable story. From her Oscar-winning performance in The Razor's Edge to her iconic role in All About Eve and her later years as a trailblazing independent actress, Anne left an indelible mark on Hollywood. Her life was filled with passion, talent, and determination, and even in her final years, she remained a symbol of grace and strength. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Anne Baxter's life, don't forget to subscribe and check out our other Hollywood Mysteries videos, where we uncover the hidden stories behind cinema's greatest stars. Thank you for watching, and as always, sweet dreams.